Welcome back. Uh, Yuri Keich. Not too bad. Okay. I'm learning Yuri's last name, how to say it. Can't get it correct, but I'm not too bad at the moment. Over to you, Yuri. 15 minutes. You need to get to the microphone.
Well, I can't multitask, so I'll hold it right here.
For the people online. Yeah.
Right
Okay.
about here.
All right.
Yeah. I'll frame my talk in how I think about the aspects of how Gen AI impacts tertiary education in general. And some of what I say is going to be specific to math and stats, so I apologize for that, but you take what you want from this. Okay, so the key observation is that we lost the monopoly on advanced interactive learning. And math and stats is hit as hard as anywhere. In fact, arguably harder, because the way these models are trained, they need lots of good, high quality data. And math and stats is kind of the ideal fodder for them because it has these very precise and exact answer rather than these more fuzzy like I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities for a correct answer, right? There's only one correct answer in math and stats typically. So now much has been said about cheating, but that is not my main concern. I see risk to university from reduced demand. Students can ask themselves, is a degree still needed when an oracle is on tap? And devaluation of degrees and the mainstream media is full of articles. Just one about a couple of weeks ago in the Sydney Morning Herald. I went to uni to learn. What I discovered about my generation has made me angry and terrified. And between the lines is the degree is worth nothing. So another risk to university is nimble AI platforms that may out-deliver us on interactive teaching. And there are a lot of startups that are going in that direction. So reduced demand and increased competition on interactive learning. And there is a deep risk to learning itself. Always available, psychophantic AI breeds a false sense of mastery. Student feels they're on top of the material, and when they're not, and the sleep goes unnoticed until the final exam shows up. So to counter the drift, the only practical defense I can currently see, certainly in terms of, again, math and stats, is to challenge the students with a constant drip of small supervised assessments, secure assessments. So that's what I did in Stat 2911, which is an introduction to statistical model and probability, second year advanced course. I introduced weekly 10-minute quizzes at the start of each tutorial. And that forced the student to engage with the tutorial sheet in advance. It drove up attendance dramatically, and somewhat grudgingly, it kept the student in contact with the material. Now, here's the rub. Education innovation, now DTL, only allows open assessments for this kind of continuous low stakes checking. And my view, again, from the perspective of math and stats, is that open assessment is only useful for the most self-driven and principled students. So I believe that's a priority for our school and probably some of the schools in the faculty as well. Fight for low-stake secure assessments. Don't throw the baby with the water, or produce genuinely novel way to adapt. And I have no idea how that would look like. Now that's one aspect. The other aspect is, well, Gen AI is here and it needs to enter our curriculum. It was well phrased by the Castlereagh statement. They put it like this: our systems were designed for an era where information and cognitive labor was scarce. That era is over. AI needs to enter our curriculum in some form. Our students want it and need it. But especially thinking about math and stats again, we should be particularly cautious with our advanced unit. And I love this quote by Andrei Karpathy. You can outsource your thinking. You can give the AI to solve hard problems, but you can't outsource your understanding. So, and speaking of Andre, he has a knack for, he works in Anthropic now. He has a knack for capturing the essence of the AI transition. He also had this, he coined this phrase: the hottest new programming language is English. So keeping these two in mind, that I need to protect the understanding and the hottest new language is English, the way I chose to introduce GenAI into STAT 2911 is specifically on the computational labs. So what I did is I introduced it, so I didn't touch the theory part. I introduced this to the computational lab, shifting the emphasis from learning R, which is a language for statisticians, toward using AI to demonstrate statistical and probabilistic concepts. Now, it was an interesting experience. So first, this was at the beginning of 2025. Reasoning models were just coming into the market. They were not yet incorporated into Cogniti. So with the help of, massive help from Danny Liu from EI, we incorporated into Cogniti agents. And we had thinking model, which is crucial for mathematical reasoning. So that was great. But then I got a message from my TA. Cogniti had solved the first lab outright just by feeding the entire PDF. So basically, took the PDF with the assignment, he gave it to Cogniti, as Cogniti spit out a complete answer, complete perfect response. That was not good, not what I had in mind. So I spent some time on this, thinking, well, how can I address this? And my fix was a dual agent setup. So I had one agent, which was a theory-only tutor. So basically, I told this agent, you know only about theoretical, mathematical, and probabilistic concept. You don't know anything about programming, and you're not allowed to answer anything about programming. Right? So students used it to explain concepts, give hints on hard problems, verifying the solutions, and generate extra practice. Then I designed a second computational-only agent, which I told it, you can only answer questions about coding. You don't understand probabilistic concept in the abstract. So that actually worked quite well until it didn't. And what I ran into is the guardrails problem, the alignment problem. So I love this quote: horny couples know that it is easier to make a human level intelligence than to raise and align it. And it is also easier to make an AGI than to figure out how to align or control it. And if we needed any reminder of that, just last week, there was this story about two rogue OpenAI agents that broke into Hugging Face, another company, and broke into their servers and wreaked havoc over there. So, and that was just an alignment problem, basically. The OpenAI agents were not told to break into. They were just told to solve some problem, and they figured out that the way to solve the problem is to break into that other company's server. Okay, so going back to, I will not be able to solve the alignment problem. Nevertheless, let's see some examples of what the change in the labs look like. So basically, the idea is to switch from rote R to computational statistical thinking. So at a glance, in 2024, it was very prescribed. Every seed, was supplied, every checkpoints were supplied. In 2025, I embedded expected graphs or tables and told the student, this is what your output should be looking like. The verb shift from executing prescribed steps to proposing and defending a method. The R syntax hit completely disappeared, and marks were based on the design and interpretation instead. And finally, the fact that I had powerful generative AI agent to do the coding allow me to introduce much more sophisticated computational simulations because the student didn't need to worry how to implement the complicated code. So here are a couple of concrete examples, comparing first and second moment estimate of Poisson distribution. You need to estimate the Poisson parameter. So the 2024, the prescribed one, set the C to 120, generate a sample size 30, create your own function, given the syntax, get a numerical summary of the errors by computing the mean absolute deviation and the MSE. In 2025, it looked like this. How would you define the error of an estimator on a given sample? Suggest at least two ways to compare the estimators in terms of their errors. What do you learn from your comparison? Here's another example, sampling, very prescribed in 2024. I've given them the inverse functions that they need to do the sampling. I told them what answer they should expect, set the seed, create some numbers, etc. In 2025, find the inverse yourself, visually demonstrate that the inverse agrees with the corresponding R quantile function. I'm not telling them which one, they need to figure it out. In 2025, I needed to tell them. And then generate a sample, visually compare the histograms. Again, in 2024, I needed to give them the precise code that shows how you do the visual comparison. In 2025, I just tell them, you need to do that. Go figure out with the agent how to do that. Again, just the fact that I had powerful agents said that I can explore deeper notions like what happens to the law of large number when some of the assumptions are at the borderline or violated, and using different modes of convergence, which is a deep notion that's hard to explain, but using simulations allowed me to design some problems that. I also used AI in assessment design, generating multiple quiz versions. Now there's a Cogniti tool for that. At the time, there was not. Offering additional problems for quizzes and the final exam, proofreading my solutions, all of that. I converted my handwriting notes into LaTeX using the generative AI. And importantly, I did a trial in AI-assisted marking. So basically, I got permission from about 3/4 of the student to use AI to mark their exam, not as part of the course mark, just as a trial. And then I spent quite a bit of time working with both ChatGPT and Claude at the time, trying to just train it the right way, to push it, nudge it the right way. It was quite a frustrating experience, but at the end of the day, Claude did an amazing work. My TA compared his marking with the AI-assisted marking, and he said, it's great. So that's actually something that we can use. If students don't want AI to mark their exam, we tell them that's fine. But with AI-assisted marking, we can cover a lot more. We can give you a lot further feedback, and you can choose which one you want. Now, what's next? 2 minutes. Okay. So we need to adapt to and bring more generative AI into our teaching. It's extremely challenging, and another priority of certainly our school, maybe faculty, substantially reduce the teaching load of a few staff so they can free up the time to redesign small selected sets of units from scratch. You can't expect people to do that while on top of everything else we are required to do. We shouldn't start with our advanced unit. The real question is, how much technique can we offload to AI in our fundamental and mainstream units while still delivering the understanding of concepts? So in math, technique and concept are often tied together. We want to try and tease that apart. Our curriculum and infrastructure has to adapt a lot more faster than today. For example, we need to introduce advanced AI tools like harnesses into our more applied offerings. And yeah, so that's it. Just in terms of maintaining the survey, it seems that 2025, I hit the bullseye in terms of the amount of AI I introduced to the class in terms of what students wish to see. So it's just about balance in terms of this seems to be the right amount of AI introduced in 2025. I don't know what is it like now, but yeah. Okay, so that's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Yuri. And I should have mentioned everyone, Yuri has role in the faculty, is responsible for our AI implementation. Are people aware of that? Yes, we've been filling in your workbooks, Yuri, with much joy, with a lot of joy. We've got time for one quick question. Yes, Ben, you need to have a microphone.
Do you see a future for the old skills that were taught in the past, like actually understanding and manually doing our coding, or do you see the future in this prompt-based conceptual change?
No, so from my perspective, coding is a dead art, right? So just like we don't code in assembly language anymore, right? Or like 2 years ago, almost nobody coded in assembly language, used higher languages. The next evolution is what Andre said, English, right? And not only that, the AI is best at choosing the right language. Why does it have to be R? Maybe Python is better for that. So rather than teaching a plethora of languages and figuring out which one, I just know what I want to do computationally. Let the AI figure what it is. Don't waste my time on. It's better in debugging. It's better in coding. Yeah, from my perspective, it's a dead art.
Quick question. Quick.
Thanks, Yuri. I was really struck by how the AI has kind of made, let's call it maths, more accessible, easy to do. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts about how AI-enabled things might improve the opportunities to co-teach maths with other disciplines like biology, etc.
Sorry, can you repeat the start of the question? Because I missed the critical word there.
Do you see it being easier to integrate co-teach maths with life sciences using these AI tools?
Definitely. So that's what I'm. Okay, I'm walking thin ice here, so I do not want to hurt my school, but but look, the way I see it, applied mathematics, not in terms of applied mathematics that we do in the School of Mathematics, but in terms of applying the best mathematical solution to a practical problem, I think that's a solved problem at this point in life. And and I think what we should be doing, that's what I was saying there, in our fundamental, not our advanced units, because there we do really want to stress the techniques, proofs, etc. But in our fundamental normal level units, where we never really strive to teach students how to prove things, right? They need to understand the concepts and how to use them. There, I see a huge potential to completely change how we teach it in a way that would make people realize, okay, actually, I can do this applied mathematical problem using generative AI. But again, I want to redesign these courses from scratch, and I need to free up people to do that design. And so far, I didn't have traction for that. I've been pushing it for 1.5 years now, and
yeah. It'll probably work soon.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Yuri. Would you please join me with thanking Yuri? Thank you. Our next speaker.